Hey gang, welcome back to the shop. I know it's been a while, I apologize. Here we got a couple special guests today. We got a nice shiny 633A tranny that we're going to be working on. And I say we because I'm joined today by Jeremy from Black River Customs. Nice to have some company in the shop here for a change. But anyway, we're going to get set up and we're going to show you the nuts and bolts and what it takes to make one of these transmissions virtually unstoppable. Stay tuned.
Pair of side cutters and pry little bugger.
There you go. I would have been fighting with that for 10 minutes probably.
And you hammer on them and stuff doesn't go back together ever.
That's what I would have been trying. A small screwdriver and a hammer tapping it out.
It doesn't want to come out beat it, right?
Yeah. Alright.
Crap load of bolts. Now remember with these, break up. If you do them with the PTO up, oh, everything will rain out of them.
Yeah, that probably wouldn't be good to drop your internals all over the floor.
Yeah, because you won't find a PDF to put these back together. We've been looking.
You are my PDF.
Can we swap this out for one that's not built to last, not modern day stuff? Try this on your F&R transmission.
F and what? That's my little contribution to this operation. Is make sure you got a box or a tin or some kind of container to put all your bits and pieces in. Nothing worse than going to put something back together and you're missing things.
Nice part with the bolts, they're all the same size, so you don't have those oddballs that it's like an inch longer than the others. Just gathering these up so they're not raining all over the floor.
2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Just about a dozen bolts ring that perimeter of the transmission.
Well, when you're this big, they call you Mister, right?
I gotta say, it's not a ton lighter, but it is nice that it is a little lighter than the Peerless 2300s that I'm used to playing with.
Yeah, those are
Them cast iron things are a lot of weight.
There's one for the blooper reel. I got my nut stuck.
Yeah, been there, buddy. Believe me.
I'm not even asking. Oh, nuts are flying.
You're doing
Over by the jar.
glass jar. I gotta stop trying to do your job and stick to doing mine here. Cameras. If anybody's curious as to why that transmission looks so shiny and beautiful, it's because I spent about 8 hours one day in here degreasing and degunging and scraping mung that had collected on this thing over its 40 years of life. And a little bath in the parts washer, and she looks good as new.
Seals even reused. Oh no, it's got to rip in the boot. There's where all your grease kept coming out when you turned it upside down.
Yeah. I was never seeing what was inside. I was wondering if I was going to be able to fake a cork gasket or something.
Well, the rubber seal's good enough, but your actual little booty is blown out.
This is my first ever 633. I've never messed with them before. That's why I got Jeremy here today, because he's a seasoned veteran playing with these.
Now the fun part.
You just let me know what you need. You want some...
Yours don't have the split tab on it.
Oh, that was easy.
Gasket's still good on it. Ish. Clean that up later.
Well, I got lots of gasket making stuff.
Our rubbery friends. Don't mash the crap out of it, because it is aluminum.
Yeah. We were just talking here about the best ways to deal with these, and your dead blow rubber mallet's probably one of the best ones. You want to avoid doing too much prying on your mating surface. If you gouge that up, you'll be guaranteed to have a leak.
Oh yes.
Aluminum is very soft. Take your time.
There's one dowel at this end, and there it is.
Yeah.
I think that was, yeah, it's just the 2 dowels.
He's talking about the 2 lining dowels down in there. One at each end of the trans.
Do we have a putty knife?
Yes, sir. Ask and you shall receive.
There we go. Looks like majority of the gasket stayed down. Good.
Well,
I don't even know who to ask for one of them.
I just make my own. I got a roll of cork, and we got gasket maker.
And it's now hung on the bearing. Come on.
Oh, just got to get past the little collar on the
go. Rust collar.
collar in there.
Sometimes it helps if you sand them down first.
I thought about taking the wire brush to it when I was restoring all the other parts and cleaning everything up here. But I thought, oh, why waste my time? Because those aren't going to be used. I wasn't thinking about tearing it apart.
Alright, here's the nice part with your 633. All needle bearings.
Beautiful.
None of that brass bushing crap.
Now, this was an oil-filled tranny. Can you switch these to a grease-filled? Or do you recommend that?
Ew, no.
No?
No.
I'm just asking in case somebody else asks.
Well, because we're in northern Canada.
True enough.
Well, central, sorry. Being here in central Ontario, it does get cold in the wintertime. I run 80-90 in the summer in mine. In the winter, I run it 60-40. 60% 80-90 gear oil to 40% ATF. Everyone's got a Ford with a leaky transmission. I get all kinds of used ATF, so I fill up my diffs with them. It makes shifting a little bit easier in the cold weather, because you can see they're all straight cut gears.
This did have quite a bit of water in it when I drained the fluid out.
Yeah, we can see that.
Actually, it was pure, clean looking, clear water. It was all the out of this for the first probably a good 20 seconds into the bucket.
Should we show them the bucket of puke?
On the bottom of that, there's a good layer of water in there.
See it?
Oh yeah, good stuff.
Nummies.
I'm glad I had it inside and it wasn't left outside, because that likely would have froze with our temperatures the way they are. And
last week's 18 below.
yeah, I think
Celsius for you Americans.
a bunch of frozen water inside a aluminum casing is not a good recipe.
No, that's a lot of wrong.
But everything other than the fact that there was water in here, everything looks good. I don't see any mangled teeth. I don't see anything jumping out at me.
Not just from rounded gears from power shifting. These are supposed to be flat cuts, but when you power shift your 633, you do cause a little bit of damage to your gear edge.
Considering this is probably a 40-year-old transmission, if that's as bad as it gets, then I think we're doing all right.
Now the fun part, we gotta take that assembly apart. Now, this gear here, it's gonna make me a liar, should slide up and out. There we go. Look at that planetary.
Ooh, that's a stout looking one, isn't it?
That's your final drive gear. Now, let's keep in mind, this is the older keyed shaft. Up here. This is a keyed shaft. The newer ones are spline cut.
Right.
This is probably late 70s.
So I was figuring probably 40-year-old, somewhere in there.
See, my roper had the spline cut ends. Nasty buggers to get off. I only got one off, and I won't even tell you the amount of dirty words it took to get it off.
Oh, I told you guys earlier on a post there that I was pleasantly surprised doing the teardown on this that both hubs, the input pulley, and the brake drum there all came off relatively easy and with little fuss. So I was quite impressed.
This is the high-low assembly. For switch your drive.
Oh, yeah, I'm looking forward to having dual range.
So when she lifts, it was sliding easily. That's because I was pushing the pin. Now I don't want to do it. There we go. It's binding. That would be your low range. Big gear to little. And that'd be your high range. Little gear to big. Which they do look pretty good. There's no teeth missing. Again, there's some power shift damage, but they all do it on straight cut gears.
I was really surprised that with the water in there that we didn't open this up to a big rusty mess. I guess the oil was enough to keep it protected.
There's some rust damage, but nothing severe. Well, you can see the water on this one still. Obviously she was nose down. We still got some chocolate milk inside the casing.
I didn't flip this around too much, but I left it sitting there draining for probably 2 or 3 hours over the bucket until it really wasn't giving up anything else.
I do believe, yeah, your drain hole was higher than your fluids. A lot of it would have sat in the pocket if you stood it up. You can see the pass through for oil to splash in to go lube your inner shaft for your
axle tube,
outer wheel bearing.
Nice.
Your seals even look good, so it might retain oil.
That would be a bonus.
Big bonus. You're getting spoiled here, buddy. Getting jealous. Might have to swap your rears.
Hey,
all right.
This is a family channel. Watch your language, son.
Let's knock this puppy apart. And of course they're different size. That would be 9/16.
Okay.
And these things are cranked with 500,000 foot-pounds. I got a feeling we got nuts on the other side. Alright.
We're going to have to break that for you the old-fashioned way.
There goes high-low assembly. Just pulls up and out. Oh yes. Fetch the thrust washer. Now because it came at one side, oh look at that, she just up and out, babe. She's peeing pull out. Your seals do work.
Nice. We got lots of rags.
Well, it was mostly water, so I think you're okay.
Yeah, there won't be much left in there. I mean,
Well, this whole side.
that was an empty, clean oil pan when I started draining that transmission.
We got nuts on the bottom.
Oh yeah.
Alrighty.
Needle bearings everywhere. I love it. I love to see that.
Oh, she's full of them.
Way better than just bronze bushings or anything.
So, got the 9/16. This one. For 9/16. Alright, so
You're probably having tool envy being that organized with stuff, eh?
well, I like walking around picking mine up off the floor. I know where they were.
So, as we're picking through to find all the tools we need to do what we gotta do, he's just pulling the bolts out of the carrier here. Those are some nice stout gears. It's no wonder people like these transmissions. Or transaxles, or whatever you want to call it. Definitely a sturdy unit. I like what I see.
Now, look at them ends.
Is that welded or?
Oh yeah, that gear's welded on there. Yeah. Too high, too low. If you took one, there's your gear flip. Alright, so the camera saw what I just did. This is the way I took it apart. This gear and this gear meet with this bottom gear for your freewheel spinning action. Now you take this one, flip it over, and bind her back down. There is your gear flip. Now, here's the problem with your gear flip. This one now has 3 points of contact. When this one goes back on, oops, that gear comes flying at you. It only has 1 point of contact. Because even if you took this one and flipped it, so you had 2 points of contact, you're back to freewheel again. Because originally this one and this one were flipped. And this one was that way, which gave you your open diff. Flip one, you're locked. But again, you see in there? We got 3 points of contact, plus these are meshed. And when this big bad boy comes back in here,
you're only going to mesh with the one gear that's
only meshed on one. So there is your issue with the gear flip. Now, if your buddy happened to have a CNC or some kind of machining and could machine you one of these to full length, that would give you a essential locker that would actually hold up. But on this one, we're going to have to go ahead and do the weld. We were hoping on a live axle swap, but these ends are welded on there quite well.
Better looking than my welds, that's for sure.
I think Japanese machinery probably did that. There's no way that's China.
Yeah. Well, this might even have been made in the good old US of A back in the day, so.
Well, very, very possible.
Back when they made stuff on this continent.
We made stuff?
At one point, yeah.
Yeah, and here's your drive plate. Your bolts pass through. Now keep in mind this is an older one. The newer ones, my roper, there is 6 planetary gears. So if you did the gear flip on mine, you're still limiting your amount of contact. But because there's 6 of them and you only got to flip 2 to lock it. So it's still, it is a very viable locker system. But personally, I beat on my crap a lot harder than most people would, I guess, so that's not an option for me. I like to go drive out and I like to drive home.
Yeah, nobody likes the toe of shame.
Yeah, blowing belt's one thing, but you know, when your junk's being dragged out and it's clunking and your wheels are tilted because your axle's smashed, that's just a no thank you for me.
Yeah.
I like the drive in and I enjoy the drive out. Okay, since I got these, okay, flip back over the right way. These bolts just pass through, spin the shaft so everything goes back together nicely. Now this was all just pressure squashed together with those bolts that were overly tightened. Well, 3 of them at least. One liked to spin. Now, we're going to have to go ahead, cut some pins, and weld this bad boy together.
Sweet.
Lay pins in the gears. Well, we'll show you that when we get some pins cut up.
Yeah. Alright, we'll find some pin material and we'll get back at it.